over 0 cases. And to discuss, we're joined by Treasurer Josh Frydenberg in Canberra. Treasurer, good morning.
Good morning to you guys. So
Gladys is clearly pursuing a live with it mentality rather than elimination. I mean, we're clearly not all in this together, are we?
Well, they're very challenging times in New South Wales, unlike the situation in Queensland where they came out of lockdown, in the southeast, or in South Australia where they came out of lockdown, and hopefully in Victoria. They had a smaller number of cases. In New South Wales, they're dealing with a much larger number of cases, and so therefore it's more difficult. But you know, we stand with the people of New South Wales. We've got our income support payments that have been going out to around 700,000 people in New South Wales. Around $2 billion has already been delivered around the country under those COVID disaster payments. We're partnered with the New South Wales government on business support, and of course we have the Australian Defence Force there helping in the task. So we're doing everything we can to assist New South Wales get out of lockdown.
We had a respected epidemiologist, Mary Louise McLaws, on the show about half an hour ago. She said conservatively another 7 weeks for New South Wales. What does that do to the economy?
Well, this is obviously a significant hit to the economy, Karl, but to put it in context, it's certainly not as severe on a national basis as it was last year when we had nearly every state in effective lockdown. So we saw in the June quarter last year, the economy contracted by 7%. Whereas the median market expectation of economists is that this September quarter, the economy will contract by 1.5%. We also know that consumer spending is around 30% higher today than it was in April of last year, and consumer confidence is more than 50% higher today than it was in March last year. So we need to maintain a sense of perspective, but that's not to in any way talk down or dismiss the very significant economic challenges that the lockdown in New South Wales is creating for both that state economy and the national economy.
Well, that's it. It's not just New South Wales, and we've been speaking to businesses for weeks now across numerous states, and they're saying that they're all hurting. They need wage support, and what you're offering isn't enough. You've also got plenty of those who have applied for help who haven't received a cent yet.
Well, the Services New South Wales is delivering the business payments, and tens of millions of dollars has already been going out the door, and more is still to come. And as you know, we have committed to paying businesses between $1,500 and $100,000 a week if their turnover is down by 30% or more, and these are businesses that are up to $250 million in annual turnover. So we're providing very substantial business support, but we do also know that the COVID disaster payments, which are the $750 a week payments to people who have lost 20 hours or more of work, they have gone out the door much quicker than JobKeeper did. They have gone out the door within an hour in many cases of those applications. More than 90% have been online, and across the country we have seen around $2 billion already delivered.
If the other premiers, and it looks like they won't, and from their perspective, why would they, open their borders to New South Wales, given the rate of infection in New South Wales and how easily this spreads, do we head into recession? Well,
again, I've seen the economy, and you've seen the economy, bounce back very strongly after last year's recession, where we had 2 consecutive quarters of negative economic growth. I know that the economy is resilient. I know that consumers are ultimately optimistic about their future. Businesses have been increasing their investment, but of course this is primarily a health challenge. So as long as we're able to suppress the virus, get on top of it, and ultimately ease restrictions in due course, then we will see the economy rebound. I want your viewers to understand that the fundamentals are strong.
Look, I get that, but there are businesses literally, like I know of 5 who are going to shut down in the next couple of weeks. There are others across the state that there's no cash flow. They can't sustain themselves. And we're talking about hard-working families here who no longer can keep the doors open to their business.
Well, absolutely. These are very difficult times, and that's why that economic support is very substantial. Now, Services New South Wales is getting out that money, and we've seen them already get money out the door, but more is to come. And of course, you've got those income support payments, which go to sole traders, by the way, as well as workers who have lost a certain number of hours every week. And that payment is at the level where JobKeeper was at the start of the crisis last year. So no, I agree with you, Karl. This is really difficult for small businesses. And that's why I've been speaking to the banks about ensuring that they provide the flexibility to those businesses to provide them with that relief they may need on payments and on their loans. That's why I've been speaking to the tax office to ensure that the tax commissioner provides the flexibility for taxpayers who are undergoing hardship. This is very much a Team Australia moment. We've all got to come together, recognising how difficult it is for those businesses. So I agree. These are very tough times.
Okay, it's tough. Look, if this treasurer thing doesn't work out for you, you know that you can always go coach Carlton. David Teague looks like he's on his way out. Hey?
Well, as the #1 ticket holder, I'm hoping that they get some wins under their belt in the lead up to the end of the year, that's all.
Willing to do whatever it takes, even if it means coaching.
Why don't you just hire Alistair Clarkson? What's wrong with that?
Well, he has a lot going for him, but those are decisions for the club. I'll just turn up and
You've got influence.
them as loudly as I can. Not in that sense, Karl. Not in that sense.
Good on you, Treasurer. Thank you. Best of luck.
Thanks, Treasurer.